Hello.
Good afternoon.
Here we are.
Hope you are all very, very well. Hope our friends back in England are
Licking their wounds.
licking their wounds. Hope they're over. Well, they will be over it. Far from over.
A few weeks before anyone gets over that.
Nah, that was a sore one. Yeah, it was a tough one to watch.
Someone's got to lose, though, right? You know?
The Italians have got a pretty good habit of winning these things.
I was going to say, I think it wouldn't have been a surprise for most people, but
I know.
you do feel bad for England. They did seem to have their hearts set on it, but it is what it is.
Tough one. A big weekend for sport. There was Scottish Open, obviously. I always look forward to that event. It was one I remember fondly. Wimbledon final, and then
That's right.
and then a little final of the Euros. So it was a big weekend for sport, and then leading into St. George's.
Yeah, that's right. Open Championship week.
Yeah,
I saw some previews of Rory getting there, Ricky getting there. Yeah, Ricky's playing.
It was interesting to hear Rory say that he feels like he's really close to having full freedom in his golf swing, and yet he missed the cut around a course where the winner's shooting 18 under.
That's weird, eh? I wonder what's nagging.
Found that really, really odd.
Must be something. There must be something that's kind of bugging him, I guess. But
must be a lot of our West Coasters joining us today. Morning, lads. A lot of mornings.
Okay, well, good morning.
Good morning. If you're just getting up, if it's 9:24 on the West Coast and you're grabbing a coffee and cereal.
That's when you start your Mondays. It's nice.
It's a great way to start your Monday, isn't it?
I would love to.
That is a great way. We do have Mr. Coates in the house, over by the window, joining the chat as always.
We just did his iron fitting.
Yep, we won't be spoiling it, so don't be asking.
So don't ask. Some irons were hit, some irons were good, some irons were not.
We learned
some things.
A lot, yeah. It's good.
So you'll see that this week. And then after the live's done, we're going to work on Rob's hybrid or Fairway part of the bag. Long or gap, whatever you want to call it. Long game gap, right?
Yes. Yeah. We're thinking with the short game, I think the short game with Rob will be another day. There is a new kind of way of doing the wedge lengths that I want to test.
Right. You mentioned that.
I want Rob to be the first to go through that process. I think it'll be great. We'll do that with Rob.
So many people in last week have asked about this Garmin Approach R10. Have you heard about this thing? I think it's a little
I got the
launch monitor.
I think it was on some bunch of people were like tagging me and Garmin in on it and saying like, Garmin, would you please send it to the boys and get them to do a review? Would be happy to.
So $779 Canadian.
Good value. What's that? 600-ish US.
Yep, our dollar's poop at the moment. It's just a little tiny little thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just sits on a little tripod. If anyone's wondering what we're talking about, it's that little Garmin thing.
Yeah, a little kind of tripod deal.
So it is.
What does it give you? The game comes to you. I mean, Rick Shields is going to be the boy for that. He's a Garmin ambassador, isn't he?
That's right. Well, yeah.
That
Rick
looks like a nice little screen.
I was going to say, so there's a lot of stuff. Like club path is on here, launch angles, club face angles. Wow, distances.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like quite a lot. Backspin.
Really?
Yeah. Records.
It's a heck of a lot for $600.
Yeah, records video of your swing. You got virtual courses to play. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. That's crazy. You can connect it to E6 for God's sake. We would like to try this.
Yeah, that and I think being radar as well, not having to level and do all that sort of stuff. It's
okay. Little kind of TrackMan range thing going on there.
Garmin, if you're listening, friends over at Garmin.
We're friends of Garmin.
If anybody knows anyone at Garmin.
Yeah, here's another request. It was constant last week. Constant.
Okay, that is.
We will do it.
Let me do it.
On the condition that we receive it.
We'll put Mr. Barath, who will be watching RB. I don't even need to text him because I know he watches this. RB, see if you can reach out to the lovely people at Garmin, hunt someone down and see if we can get, what do they call it, a G10?
R10.
R10.
They'll know the one.
R10. New TaylorMade driver, the R10.
Okay, so let's start with one here. I think Brandon got
Schwatter.
some advice from you last week, maybe?
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember
Yeah,
that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So his only question now is Ventus Black 6X or an Accra Tour Z RPG.
One question is versus the Accra. The Accra felt better and better numbers, but cost is more and harder to find.
Interesting. How much more could it be than a Ventus?
And not. I mean, in our store, not much more. I think I want to say if there's a difference, it might be $50.
$50.
It's not
just
much.
the harder to find thing. You can find it from you.
You can find it at TXG, TXGstore.com.
.com. Yeah. So
Buy
there.
now.
So one of your issues was harder to find. It's not. And cost, yes, $50. But you are talking about some pretty expensive stuff. So I think you might just want to do it.
Yeah.
If
It's
it
a lovely
feels better
shaft.
and you get better numbers. I think that is the answer, Brandon.
Yep. Agreed.
You've answered it.
Agreed. Tony is wondering why he's such a bum and just settles for off-the-shelf club specs. Shake my head. I'm losing at least 50 yards.
Tony, why am I
Tony, don't be a bum.
just so proud?
Don't be a bum. Get off your bum and go to get fit.
Even a
Get
basic
your 50
fit.
yards.
Yes. Get even a basic fit, Tony.
Come on.
You know better, clearly, by by saying that. I want to know this too. Did Mikey play any golf with that mini driver? Mikey, are you watching?
Michael, can you answer the people?
Did you
We
hit
wanna
any
know.
mini drivers or mini 3-woods in your case?
I played 2 rounds with him since that video, and it did not make it into either of those.
Okay, so it wasn't there.
It was not.
I'm surprised. He seemed to like it.
He had a great. I think, to be honest, there was customers had requested it, so I think it was in the bay most of
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
we literally only had one.
yeah, we
so,
just had
okay,
one.
That's fair enough.
I think that's probably why.
That is fair enough. What else we got going on here?
Let's see. There's a
Today, it says
question about Matty's haircut. Has Matty had a haircut? Matty's not had a haircut.
you may be able to tell.
Flowing.
It may be upcoming. I'm sure I'll get sick of it very soon. And it's allowed now, so I may book myself an appointment. I think the gym's going to open on Friday, and there's a barber.
Is it?
Yeah.
A
Supposed to.
lifetime action.
Pretty sure. Well, it's the 16th.
Yeah, but is it not? Rob will know. 50% capacity or something, isn't it? Gyms. Did you see that?
That's fine. I think
yeah.
I'll be
You
able
think
to squeeze
that'll be
in.
enough to get the?
My gym's not that busy.
Yeah.
I'll go at a weird time.
Guidelines are very rough right now.
Right.
And some
I'm sure they are.
meeting with ideas.
Mm.
Gotten all kinds of flack for it. Other people are trying to be, or other gyms are trying to be less.
Well, it'll be open, so.
Yeah.
Can't please anyone.
Yeah.
I know.
Can't please anyone. That's for sure.
Nope.
Sorry, I took this quickly. Ethan's just saying that today Bridgestone quietly marked up their golf balls to match the pricing from other premium balls. Thoughts? I don't know. It was a big advantage of theirs to be $10 less for the longest time, $10-15 less. So if that's the case, I mean, there's obviously a reason, but
I mean, only really Titleist are at that. I mean, Titleist are ahead of everyone in terms of
this
cost.
is always the most expensive.
Right, I think everyone's cheaper than Titleist, are they not? Even TaylorMade.
TaylorMade
Callaway.
usually is. It's just like
Strixon's a
Hanma
lot.
balls are more expensive maybe.
Clear. Remember
Clear.
those guys? Once upon a time, they were going to send us some stuff.
Yeah, what happened? Well, isn't oh for God's sake, Masters champion
Yeah,
Charles
Charles
Schwartzel
Schwartzel,
still
yeah.
wears the rattan hat with it last time I saw him. Yeah, that's right. We haven't tested those. Yeah, I'd be curious. Bridgestone's a favorite ball of a lot of people I know, and it's not just because of the cost, but it's a good reason. Like, it's a very good ball, and it's cheaper, so we'll see. Hopefully that's just a temporary thing. Maybe they had a manufacturing cost change due to the supply chain of the world being a disaster.
Exactly. Akash is asking, can we do a virtual fitting? He has a GC quad.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Can you ever?
Absolutely. You can
a
do
good
it.
one.
A great one with Dino or Patrick. So, yep, you can definitely do that. You can go to virtual@txg.ca, virtual, and just basically request that. You can purchase it from the online store. You can go straight to txgstore.ca. You can purchase the virtual fit. It's on there, $40.
And then schedule it from there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Quick one here from Robbo. That's a good question. When would you use lie angle adjustment versus sliding weights specifically for a driver? So a lot of these sleeves, like the TaylorMade sleeve, you can set it to upright. Or you can set it to obviously not the same driver, but Callaway's has a sliding weight. Do you use upright much for a driver?
I mean, if you're trying to shift a start line more left, as up for a right-handed golfer, if you're trying to just tilt that face angle more left and move the start line, really it's start line versus strike behavior. Sliding weights influence strike behavior, lie angles influence directional start lines.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, Robbo, hope that helps.
Matt Holdren has just asked, he got fit for a Sim 2 with the Diamana ZF80 TX. Hits it great and looking forward to getting it. Thoughts on that shaft? I actually hoped that one would have done better for us, to be honest, Matt. I think it's a good shaft. I think, designed to be the bridge between Diamana BF and the DF. I thought it was going to be really popular. I think it was designed at the time with Justin Thomas in mind.
Okay, I remember you saying that.
he was using the BF for the longest time, and I think he was looking for maybe something a little bit stiffer, but he didn't like the DF, ZF was the bridge.
Yeah,
and he ended up didn't like that either. So
they go to all this trouble for him.
I know. So, but no, I think it's a good shaft. Interesting. You're playing some serious weight and flex. Obviously, loader springs to mind when it comes to that. So, listen, if it works great for you, which it seems to do, that's the only thing that matters.
Don't worry about the trends.
Yeah,
trends will come and go. From John Jensen. John wants to know thoughts on Apex 21 DCB irons for a 14 handicap. Forgiving? ?
Yeah, very forgiving.
Our Elevate, I don't know what the ETS means, shaft, similar to XP95s.
No, different. I mean, they both will be designed to, kick a little more, hit the ball a little higher.
Sounds like John can get both from Callaway.
I mean, it's kind of one of those, like, DCB, very strong in lofts, obviously deep cavity back, CG very, very low, shaft designed to kick a little more and elevate the flight.
Yep.
So you've kind of got the best of both worlds going on there. So yeah, I'd give the Elevate a run. I've never been an XP95 fan, to be honest.
Elevate it is, John.
Go for that.
Quick one from Ryan here. Ryan's asking, he's currently between a Strixon, I'm assuming, X7 and a P7 MC combo set. Thoughts? My thought is this. I think the TaylorMade combo set is maybe the prettiest from a looks perspective, but I would expect the Strixon combo set.
Is that a combo set?
I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah, P7.
Currently between, I think he's just thinking like one or the other.
Oh, okay.
I think
so
that's
ZX7s or P7.
Yeah, like I think that's
MCs.
what it means. Yeah.
Well, the MCs are quite a bit smaller.
So that's my thinking. Like
way smaller.
Quite different. Like you'll look at the MCs and go, oh, intimidating, thin top line, thin sole.
They look cool.
Look lovely.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. Obviously ZX7, bit more forgiving, bit of a bigger footprint. Ryan, you know your own game well enough. What does your game need? If you're on the steeper end, Strixon has that sole that deals with that really, really nicely.
Right. Yep.
So I think pick your poison in amongst those characteristics, Ryan.
Agreed.
Two good irons, though. Mm-hmm. Two good irons. Interesting one here. Voxit.
Right.
Do you guys experience people not being able to swing well in the bay compared to outside fits? It can happen. It can happen. Sometimes people kind of overthink the bay a little bit. The environment. The numbers. The lack of a target.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And that's personal preference, because when I swing on quad, I see the target. Like I'm reacting to where that yellow flag is. Like I don't think there's a lack of a target at all, but I can understand why people say that.
In context, I guess
Definitely.
it lacks it. Yeah.
So it's something that is a real deal thing. Is the DNA of your golf swing likely to change? No. I mean, you're still showing us the same delivery.
You may just feel like you're not hitting it well or something like that.
Yeah, I had this conversation with a playing partner I was playing with on Saturday. He had been fit by us, and he had that same thing. He's like, I I just didn't feel all that he wasn't hitting it very good on the day, and like could see his numbers and this and that, and like I think the lack of numbers on a range sometimes can help, and that suited him.
Probably depends on the person a bit too, right?
Very much.
All right, Richard. Richard was fitted for a G425 Max, an Accra FX 3.0 150 M3.
Mm-hmm.
His funds are a bit tight. Would that shaft work with my current G410 Plus driver head? I would imagine
Highly
so,
likely,
right?
Richard. Highly likely.
I don't know that a G410 Plus player going to a G425 Max is going to go, oh, amazing difference.
Agreed. Agreed. G410 was a great head. Really, really nice.
Will serve you well.
Corey is asking, are we dropping what's in the bag video? Firstly, Corey, I'm kind of a little upset you haven't called us cute or cuties, or
I'm surprised you even answered this question.
I
don't know. He doesn't like us anymore.
Like, are we slacking this week? Are we just not turned up?
You put a shirt on backwards?
Looking the part? What's going on? But yes, I have been thinking about those videos. Have you got work to do in your bag other than the wedges? What you thinking?
The wedges are coming in. I got work to do on my ability to play golf, but no, the bag will probably be fairly...
Problem, I cannot... My golf bag's a revolving door right now.
So we'll just make a video that will change in a week.
Like, I feel like I would be wronging the people if I'd done a what's in the bag right now, because I would see someone at the club the next week and they'd be like, that's not what you said was in your bag.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm solidifying some things, I will say that.
Okay.
I have solidified the woods, and I've
that's good.
A little bit of a curveball with the 3-wood shaft. I've ended up doing something quite different with the 3-wood shaft I didn't think I would do.
Okay.
So there's some stuff going on there. One of my I'm waiting for new shafts on my Mura irons, so I want to.
Now we're going back to those, are we?
Back to Modus 120Xs. Do you know what part it is? Everyone keeps sending us to test. They send me a 120X and everything.
Do they?
Everything. Like Titleist send us 120Xs. Callaway send me 120Xs because they can't get either MMTs or Oban.
Of course.
Right? So they're going to send... So, like, if it is going to be the shaft at a test and stuff like that,
you might as well play.
I want to see
golf.
if it... Yeah, get back into it.
That makes sense.
So we'll do that. And I also want to try lighter wedge shafts.
Yes. I will also think I will be doing that because the wedges will come in and we'll probably do that to mine too.
I just see, like, when I see Raflewski do his short game stuff, and like he's using that freaking graphite shaft, and like he's swinging it. I remember in the lesson he gave me in here, like he's like just do this.
That's how I feel. I was saying that to him because we did some stuff 2 weeks ago, and he's, as I have to tell him, I'm notoriously dragging the handle, and he's like, what does your wedge weigh? Like, look at my wedge. He's like doing this. I'm like,
he's literally looks like a kid's toy.
Yeah. There's something to it.
I know.
There's got to be something to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Take this one from whatever that is. I started 2 years ago with 30-year-old blades and was gifted Callaway X20s. Fallen from 18 to 25 handicap.
Yep.
Okay,
Handicap's
so
going
worse.
up. Yep.
You're shallow and have a very fast swing speed. I mean, I would imagine the X20s, you're hitting them way further, probably with less spin. Maybe you're hooking them.
Yeah.
Maybe the bigger sole is catching.
Yeah.
There's no way the 30-year-old blades were helping, but...
Yeah, it wasn't the answer. It wasn't the long-term answer. And also, the handicap may not just be a pure reflection of your irons. There can be, obviously, many other parts of your game.
Yep.
But, I definitely think, first and foremost, before you discard the irons, you probably want to address the shallow angle of attack. Take a couple of lessons, see if you can get, a few steepeners, into your swing, and that should help stabilize the club face. Shallow and fast is it can be a tough combo. You can
with the irons, that can be rough.
Can be tough on contact. It can be tough on face rotation, all those sorts of things. So I don't think you're using worse irons with X20s. I just think your delivery might not suit them as much. So I would actually, in this case, lead the delivery to try to match the irons a little bit more.
Makes sense. to you if you got one ready there, lad.
Let's see. Michael's asking, where can we buy those sweet Galvin Green TXG sweaters that you two are wearing?
Not yet.
You currently can't. No, there's not.
They're for us only for now, but I'm sure we can figure something out in the near future.
No.
It's just one of those things, one project at a time.
We tried for a while with the Galvin Green product. Actually, it was a few years ago. And,
We had shirts, right?
Yeah, the cost was quite high.
They're very expensive, to be fair.
But I know the cost has come down quite
Has
a
it?
bit. Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah. So it's more
Okay.
manageable. So,
Well,
we may look into that.
maybe the guys at Galvin can find one of their more cost-effective pullovers, and we can logo some up.
Definitely.
Okay, from Matt. Was just fitted to the Sim 2.
We got that one.
Already got that
Yep.
one. Okay, then I will get the next one.
We'll go
Yeah, you
down to
did get that
these
one.
end here. Shakes. When giving fittings, can just a shaft change completely change strike location without making a swing change? Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
We just had it with Rob.
That's right, yeah.
We literally just done that. We changed the shaft profile to move the strike location into a spot in the head that we prefer was more stable, was going to be more consistent on launch spin and speed. Absolutely. Things that move, like shafts that deflect, definitely the more deflection, the less deflection, absolutely that can change things.
All right.
Sorry, grab one there if you got one, pal.
From Ollie. Ollie's got a 2017 M2. That's a tailor-made driver, regular flex. He's swinging it too fast for regular.
Yes, Ollie. It is, but not could be because of the flex. It is because of the flex.
My iron shots go all over the place.
Yeah.
Our flex is not for you.
Not for you, Ollie. 112 with the big stick. You should be certainly looking at, X flex. Having that shaft kicking like that is somebody. I would say if you're a really, really, good player, smooth swing, it won't make as much difference. But you want to be more stable with that shaft for sure.
Okay. Easy one.
Dave Fogel is asking, did you ever try the MMT 125 TX? Dave, have you been under a rock?
I think we did, no?
Is Dave asleep at the wheel? I have 125s in my irons, Dave. Have had them in there for 6 weeks. We have done videos on the 125 TX.
We definitely did a video on it.
Yeah, we done them a while ago.
I think it would have been last year, though, Dave.
Yeah.
Perhaps you were on vacation. Or
He
you just
doesn't
missed
go
one.
on vacation. He doesn't miss a video. He sees
Well,
every
you can
one of
watch.
them.
You can watch on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. We've tried them many times. I love them. I think they feel really good. I thoroughly like them. I've got them in my Strixon irons.
Mikey playing them too?
Mikey plays them as well. He plays the 105 TX soft stepped.
Nice.
He done it because of the weight. He didn't like the 105 stiff weight. He wanted a little bit more.
More weight.
Yeah, 113 grams. So he went with the TX and soft stepped them to get a bit of feel back. And
Nice.
yeah, I don't think his irons are the best part of his game right now, but that's more swing related. But he's playing well. His game is probably in the best general shape that I've seen it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good to hear.
It is good.
Justin is asking, is there a reason that RTX full face are all 9-degree bounce? Okay, well, I didn't know that. I guess all the models are going to come in one bounce.
I haven't actually looked at the specs on
No. Take a quick look. I mean, I could see it. I mean, if they have a lot of models of wedges, I don't know how many bounce options they could possibly have.
It would seem a little strange though, wouldn't it? If they were all literally just one.
Strange, yeah. Have a quick gander.
Come on, Cleveland. Tell us something.
Apparently they're sold out too. There you go. Specs. Yep, correct. They're all 9.
Now, what I would say is, Justin, with all of them, I mean, you can manipulate that, obviously with bend in the loft. So, say you've kind of got a 4-degree window. So if you wanted, say, your 58 to play 11 degrees of bounce, you'd basically take your 58 and bend it 2 weak, right? Go 60, 11.
Yes.
If you wanted your wedge to play 7 degrees of bounce, you want it to be low bounce, you could take your 64 and make it 62.7 or 58.7. You
just have to mess around with.
You can play with it a little bit, and dial it in. But maybe that's the thinking that 9 is a very good.
It's very
middle
mid,
ground.
isn't it? It's like the most mid it could be.
Yeah. So you can kind of go between 7 and 11 basically by manipulating. Which, to be honest, is a lot of companies, they don't tell you that's what they do, but that is
that's
what
they're doing, and then they put the plate on.
Yeah, you look at Mizuno and they offer the T20 every single loft gap. Well, they don't. They just
it's not forging
they just
a new
bend
wedge.
the head.
Yeah. My 55, I don't think was forged from scratch.
No.
I'd like to think it was, but it wasn't.
It was.
This is a good quick one here. What do you recommend for a high handicap golfer who hates the look and feel of game improvement irons? So I will rephrase the question. What is the most forgiving iron, in your opinion, that looks and feels the best? So what's the most forgiveness you can get while maintaining some aesthetics and some feel? Forgiveness is, we say this all the time, forgiveness comes in many different forms. So True.
It definitely sounds like, I'm trying to pronounce that.
I didn't bother.
Tachon?
Maybe.
Tachon Gaming. TG. TG definitely sounds like the sole is a big problem for you. You're shallow and fast, like you said in the previous one.
Right.
So the game improvement stuff generally comes with a thicker sole. There's an iron that New Level do. It's called the 902. I think that would be worth looking at. Good price point, fairly generous head profile, but has a nice thin sole, bit of a pre-wear in the leading edge. That's one I would definitely look at. New Level 902. Nice irons from them.
Love it.
Really, really good.
Love it, love it, love it. A couple people said they've seen the first images of the Mizuno ST200G.
Yep, very nice.
Looks good, eh?
Saw the premiere this morning. Looks
think they
like
just posted it,
okay. So we can talk. Yeah, so three areas for the weights to go into. I know that the response has been really strong on tour. A lot of the tour guys, have been requesting it long before the release. So I think they've probably had to bring the release up a little bit because they want it in the hands of some of their guys. But yeah, they're excited about it. Really excited about it.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's not what it's called. It's not called ST200G. It's called STG. 200 was last.
Yeah, 200 was the last one. That's right.
It's STG 220 is the new one.
Right.
Because I just Googled it and a video we did came up. And I'm like, well, we haven't done it.
Where are these guys?
I think I would remember doing it. All right. To you there, bud, if you got one.
Phil is saying it's a fitter's dream for Ian with the STG. Yeah, I mean, I like adjustability. I think, I'm never one of these. Some people like, the heads, like if you look at a 2016 M2, a plain, simple driver head, obviously move the loft sleeve, but no weights. Some people really like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I like that driver, but I don't love overly simple drivers.
Yeah.
I like
you like a little
options.
bit of something.
I do.
That's fair enough.
Definitely do.
Fair enough.
Craig is asking, the biggest difference between Sim 2 and Sim 2 Max drivers is the Max draw bias. The Max is not draw bias. No, it's. You need just look at the players who use it. Rory, DJ. It's definitely not draw bias. It's more neutral in its bias. The Sim 2 is a little bit more fade bias. The biggest difference being center of gravity, being more forward in Sim 2. The weight is very different. I think Sim 2 Max has 24 grams at the back and the Sim 2 has 16 grams at the back, so CG location is obviously different.
Gotcha. It's a quick one. Talk about lefty friendly brands. Ping is one of them. What would you say with the other one? Titleist?
Titleist do a good job, yeah.
I don't think Titleist makes anything in right hand only that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I can you think of is like the low loft driver heads, like the 8s and stuff like that.
Fair.
Fair. But
for the most part, Titleist is a lefty-friendly environment.
Yes.
For you.
Yeah. Richard is saying, how do you like the new Oban shaft stickers versus the old ones? Love them. much smaller.
Are they? Yeah.
Much more discreet. I think they've done a really nice job with
That's
it.
good.
Yep. I think sometimes companies like ourselves that obviously pure the shafts. When you start putting stickers on top of stickers and stickers, like it starts to get a little bit busy. So yeah, I do like that.
Quick one here. Greg's asking. He's got all his specs and everything. He's asking, how does he proceed with an online fit?
virtual@txg.ca, email us, or literally just go ahead and buy the virtual fit on the online store. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but txgstore.ca.
And if Greg, if you're an upper tier member, I know you said you just joined, I can't tell, but if you're a higher member, then you'll just be emailing through that. But yes, if you were separately, if you're like a bronze member, then that is process.
Yeah.
You can answer this one quickly because I know you don't have one. Bobby's asking about Maltby iron heads, thoughts on specifically the TS1 and how they compare to other iron heads. We really have not tested these, Bobby.
No.
Unfortunately, we can tell you nada.
Mr. Fogel, you're heading back to the naughty step.
What did he do now?
Fairly soon.
What did he do now?
He said, I thought you guys didn't believe in puring shafts. Dave, if I didn't believe in puring shafts, do you think I would spend the money to get the machine? That is not a cheap piece of kit. What we said was, in the test that we done, there was no difference. There was no discernible difference.
In that specific test.
In that particular test, which in our estimation meant that the shaft was of such high quality that it really didn't matter which orientation you installed it on. We have also said many, many times about shaft puring that in a set of 7 irons, if that's how many you have, that the likelihood is you'll have 1 or 2 rogues in there, and puring will significantly improve the consistency of that set from a frequency standpoint, from a loading standpoint, a feel standpoint, and it may be a quality control standpoint that one of those shafts is actually out of tolerance, and we'll see that in the line straightness test or the torque test or one of the many, many tests.
Gotcha.
So there, Mr. Fogel.
You got it.
Over in the naughty step. You've got 5-minute timeout.
He'll be back.
He's already back. He's in there.
Oh.
He's in there. So why do it? He says.
Mid-answer.
Yeah.
All right. Brady is asking about a set of JPX 919 tours with Modus 105Xs. He's using the new TP5X ball. Mm-hmm. He is spinning the ball a lot. 7,500 to 8,000.
Yeah, that's high.
Is this too much?
It's too high.
Should I look at shafts or stronger loft? Yeah, the loft. Shaft is not going to do anything about that, is it?
Not much. I mean, a lighter shaft can at times be a little bit higher in the dynamic loft. You might find that you deliver a little bit less, but
he's got to shave 1,000 off that. So
yeah.
You probably need to go with a loft. What, a degree? A degree and a half?
Yeah, I would probably go. The new TB5X spins a bit more as well, so I would probably go maybe something like Pro V1. Maybe even flirt with an AVX if you've got that much spin at your disposal, because it feels great. I think AVX feels great.
It does. That's not a bad idea.
Maybe try something like that.
Okay. Yeah, don't spend money on shafts though, Brady.
No. Long time follower on the channel, Peter, is just saying he went to an arm lock putter. Unbelievable results after he got used to it. I'm keen to try an arm lock putter.
I can't believe you haven't already.
I
You've
know.
been talking about it for weeks.
I know. I'm gonna. It's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah, my putting has been
going to happen.
Poop.
Oh, dude. You know, everything I do on the golf course has been poop. So
Is
I
it?
hear you. Oh, I'm terrible.
I'm terrible.
Dude, I'm terrible. I'm so bad. I'm just there to get out of the house and relax, get some sun, talk to my friends.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't
sucking.
it? I know. My game is so up and down. It's a joke. I've had 11 birdies in my last 2 rounds and haven't broken par.
That's a lot of birdies.
Yeah.
How could your putting be that bad if you made 11 birdies? You
Well,
hitting
par
into like
5s
an
and
inch?
2 and
Okay.
stuff like that, and
Do you have short par 5? I don't remember your course.
well, one
all
of the
that well.
rounds was at the paintbrush, and I think
okay.
like there's a couple of the holes that are, I think every par 5 was downwind, so
Right.
like I think
So
the
it's-
longest iron I hit into a par 5 was 7 iron.
Gotcha.
Our course,
No, yours I remember you have to hit a couple of good.
couple of decent ones.
You're not putting for eagle that often.
Yeah.
Unless you hit a heroic 3-wood, which I think may have occurred on video, if I recall correctly. Didn't you hit some 3-wood or something?
You and I both hit in that same video. We hit a great 3-wood. You hit one at number 9. We hit a nice drive up there, but you absolutely roasted a 3-wood into number 9. We got on there in 2.
Right.
And then number 17, I hit a decent one and we got on there in 2.
I recall that.
But it's disappointing to make that many birdies and
You want to be under par.
Yeah, like those rounds you feel like
if you make 5 or 6 birdies, you'd be like, I need a 6 next to my score.
There's only a few times in the year you'll throw that many birdies on the scorecard.
True, it's a lot.
So you want to take advantage of those rounds.
That is fair. You didn't grab this for Michael yet, did you?
No.
Okay. So Michael, I believe, is talking about a 2017 TaylorMade M1, which he has in 12 degrees. He hits it 30 yards further than his 19-degree hybrid. Can I get more, or is this gapping appropriate? Okay, so his 19-degree hybrid goes 200 yards. Hits his driver 230. Is that expected?
There might be a little bit more in the tank for you.
245 maybe?
Yeah, I think you're maybe a little closer than you think, though. I mean, I think you're probably get 10 more potentially with the driver, but maybe not more than that.
Hard to know what it would be, Michael.
It's hard. It's hard to know where the leakage.
You may be hitting it higher. You might be hitting it too low. Who knows? But take a look at that driver. A couple more yards for you somewhere.
For sure. Albert is asking thoughts on a 4 and 7 wood combo versus traditional 3 and 5 wood. Albert, I love it. I think for a lot of people that is a great combination, and people should look a lot at that. Certainly slower swing speeds. We'll do better with the extra loft. Actually, slower and higher swing speeds. People who don't need to hit 3-wood that far. So I think it's a very, very underrated combo.
It seems to be, and it seems to be becoming much more common at the same time.
Yep.
Okay, here's one. I'm thinking of getting fitted. Good thought. How do I normalize carry between old and new irons? New 6-iron is 1 degree lower loft and 1/4 inch longer. Okay, Mizuno MP32 versus MP20.
I think, Kevin, you require a gapping session. You got to go and get on a launch monitor and have a proper gapping session. The know your yardages software that Foresight has. Get on there and do that.
Yep.
That's a good idea. That'd be good. I think it'd be probably what you need, and to be honest, throw away what the standard specs are in the clubs and just literally gap them so they have the right incremental distances.
Makes sense. Daniel. Generally, what swings would you think of for Graphite Design Tour AD
Black.
DI Black?
Same
just
as the
paint,
orange,
right?
Just to let you know.
And the Tour AD HD. Both are available at TGW for no upcharge on TSI. That's a good deal.
Very good deal.
We've tested both of those.
What's TGW?
The Golf Warehouse. It's like one of the biggest online retailers in
haven't heard of those guys.
States. Yeah, they used to advertise on Golf Channel. Maybe they've stopped doing it. So an AD HD or a DI?
Yeah. DI is a little bit softer in the tip section than an HD, so speed wise, obviously you're going with Titleist heads, so very standard head weights. I mean, there's so many different things, Daniel, to be honest. Like looking at the tip section from a deflection standpoint, where do you want your strike to be? If you want your strike to move up, go with softer tip like a DI. You want your strike to be more in the lower part of the head. You want to stabilize the tip, go with an HD. I mean, generally speaking though, if you want to generalize it, like, the quicker, faster guys will be HD, the smoother, slightly slower people will be DI.
Okay.
Generally speaking, but that can be completely wrong for a lot of people.
Fair enough. Always better to get fit.
That's why we don't. I always feel very reluctant to give those types of answers on those questions, because I've no idea what I'm dealing with, and I can end up giving you, to be honest. Like it's a 50-50. I may as well flip a coin for you. But that's generally what it is. I mean, you can go on the Graphite Design website. They've got a really nice little description on all the shafts, and you can see whether the shaft is a medium tip, stiff plus.
Right.
You know, it's got all the information on it, so you can see the exact EI profile and description on there.
I mean, ideally, you'd want to at least get to a demo day or something, Daniel, but there you are.
Definitely.
To you there, bud, if you got one.
Ryan's trying to kind of pull me into some trouble here. Ian, without giving up secrets, based on what you know, what brands are you most excited for going forward?
Ooh.
Ryan, that's a cheeky one. Obviously, I mean, this isn't a secret. The new T100 or T series irons look incredible. I think they've made upgrades for sure. T200s look way better.
Yeah, I think that T200 is the big one.
People are talking about how good the long irons are in those, and they're sending some for you and I, which is nice.
Lovely.
Dave Fogel put Ryan in the doghouse instead of me. No, you're still in the doghouse, Dave.
You got 2 more minutes.
Couple more minutes. What else? I mean, yeah. There's a couple of companies. I mean, you know, TaylorMade have some stuff coming.
Yep, people are
somewhat aware of that. There's obviously we know timelines of these things. Mizuno have some stuff, you know, in the next 6 months that we will know more of, and stuff like that. So it's tough. It is tough.
Everyone's making such good stuff now. It's kind of hard to pick a.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from Callaway. They've been quiet. Ping have. I mean, it's going to. You're going to see. Put it this way. You're going to see a busy PGA show launch next year.
January. Yeah.
I think the companies are somewhat avoiding the fall launch this year because of the component backlog.
Yeah,
grips and
shafts. Stuff you were telling me. Yeah.
Yep. So I think a lot of people will probably avoid that this year, where they would normally have done a fall launch.
So the PGA show will be hot.
We will be busy lads.
Love it. Okay, from Implicit Zen.
Love to know what that means.
I would also some sort of company or something. A 10.5 Epic Max turned down to 9.5. Okay, swings it quick.
Yep.
He's playing stiff. Struggling to keep his spin under 3,000, but does hit up on it. Interesting.
Too much dynamic loft. It can only be too much dynamic loft or a low strike. I think you might be in the wrong head. I think you might need the
LS.
The LS. Yeah. I would go and try that if you can go on somewhere and plug that onto the shaft you currently have. You also might be a little quick for the stiff shaft if it's a stock stiff. You might be a little bit quick for that. So the good news is it won't be hard to shave that 800 off that you're looking to shave off. That will, especially with an upward angle attack like that. You just have to manage the dynamic loft a little bit. If you're on TrackMan, make sure your dynamic loft is less than 16. If you're on COD, make sure it's less than 18.
Love it. The solution. Okay. From Christian. Christian went from 2018 Callaway X Forge that were slightly upright. Okay, S400 20s. He's now playing Strixon 785s. Project X. He used to draw the Callaways, and he's fading the Strixons. So there's a 1 degree lie angle difference, so that could be a little bit of it. And there's a shaft change. S400 120s to
block fade.
I mean, it does seem a bit strange.
Two totally different balance points. I mean, you've got
the LZ.
Yeah, an LZ. I mean, although they are the same weight, 120 DGs and 60 LZs are both 120. Very different shafts. Callaway draws a draw hook, and Strixon was a block fade. Yeah, swing weight could be. It's definitely not lie angle. Certainly not static lie angle. Could be dynamic lie angle and deflection, but even that, you know, I don't expect that to be more than 2 degrees apart, which isn't going to make a hook and a block. Like, you're not going to have 2 shots 30 yards apart. Christian, I would go and get fit and try and establish what your characteristics are, what shafts you like the load profile of, what dynamic loft you need that matches up with your face angle. There's a lot to go at there, but the fact you've kind of seen one and you've kind of seen the other, there's somewhere in the middle is obviously the right answer, but to get that, you're going to need more information. I don't think it's lie angle though.
No, only 1 degree doesn't seem like it would do that much.
Yeah. You see that little cheeky counter over your left shoulder there, Matty boy? 159.
I think it's trending towards the 160. Maybe this week.
Statistically, analytically speaking, 47 point something % of our viewers still do not subscribe to the
It's
TXG.
still 47, eh?
Yep,
Yeah.
still 47. So, in the course of the next, week, the 10,000 people that are roughly watch these videos, if there are a significant amount of you that watch the lives and don't subscribe, give it a wee hit.
That would be nice.
Give it a wee hit.
Let's make it say something different when we're sitting here next week.
Yeah, 160 is nice.
It would be
160 is
has a nice ring to it, right?
I like it. So, yeah, if you're watching this and you don't subscribe, hit it.
Go ahead.
Just give it a wee hit.
Go ahead.
Tim is asking,
Tim.
he has a 3.7 handicap, irons are the worst part of his game, plays ZX7, Modus 120, X1 flat, and weak. Sounds like a set that I would play. Struggles with height and spin. 80 feet and 5,000 spin, yeah. Thoughts on a different head, shaft, or ball? Thick soles feel clunky. Yeah, Tim, I mean, you're probably a shallow, angle of attack player. We have talked a little bit about that recently. Soles are very important. Ball would be low-hanging fruit for sure. I would say something like a Pro V1X would be high compression, high spin, would definitely raise that. 80 feet. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult to get that into the 95 feet range. I can tell you that. That club is probably not the right head for you to do that though, especially if you're on the shallower side of things. I would love, Tim, and I know you follow avidly, so I'd love if you can tell me if you can go try an Apex Pro and play them 1 degree weak and keep the slightly 1 degree flat as well if you can. 1 weak, 1 flat. I'd love to see those with a Pro V1X. I think you could get it 90 to 95 feet, no problem. Spin up in the 55 to 5,800 range. I think you could be in great shape.
Nice. Yeah, sounds like good advice. For Tim. Chris says he has no question, but he is stoked to be coming to TXG Mississauga in about a month.
Awesome.
For a full bag fitting.
Look forward to seeing you there, Chris.
Nice, Chris. You know what Chris is going to get?
It's been a while. I've not had your air horn in a while.
There it is. I've missed it. So
Tim's in the Pro V1X. Good. I mean,
good start.
Really beyond that, Tim, Chris. Tim, if you're in the Pro V1X, don't go to a ball that is higher spin than a Pro V1X. The problem you'll have is you'll basically create so much spin, you'll pull the ball down, right? So if you went to Mizuno RB Tour X,
I remember you were saying that.
you're actually going to pull the ball flight down. The launch angle will come down as a virtue of the higher rate of friction. You'll lose launch angle, and ideally the two things you have to maintain. Actually, the biggest thing that will influence Apex is going to be ball speed and launch angle. Spin will be last. So even if your spin didn't move all that much, the two that you want to retain. So you want a fast face and higher launch.
Okay.
That's
To get
basically
ball
the two keys.
Gotcha. Dustin, what adjustments would you recommend for my TSI 3? He's got a 9 degree turned up to 10.5, swinging it very fast, but he's only launching it at 6.
A squeezer. Yeah.
So he hit.
Dustin's
So
a
you hit
squeezer.
down on it a little bit, then, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend? Would he have to play a higher lofted, lower spin driver? Is that the only way to do it? Without changing your swing dynamics, obviously. If he hit up on that 2 instead of down 1, I'm assuming this would change quite significantly. But that might not really be what you're asking, Dustin. I'm assuming you're asking with equipment, what could you do? What did you say was the lowest spinning head of the year? Sim? or Callaway?
So, yeah, I think everyone else has talked about raising spin profiles. TaylorMade have not.
So maybe if you could get a 10.5 sim and try to get your strike point a little higher, maybe.
Yeah. I would manipulate some things, Dustin, in your setup. I'd work on strike point and angle of attack, and try and kind of get that to neutralize a little bit. That launch angle, to be honest, is screaming out low strike.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Very unlikely if launch angle is 80% of delivered loft.
Yeah, you're probably.
We're effectively talking about a delivered loft of about 8 degrees,
which wouldn't spin at 3,000.
No, that would scream of low strike.
So maybe just working on the strike could do the whole thing.
Yeah, I would work on that first and foremost. If you don't have access to launch monitors, some doctors show foot spray, very light spray on the face, head to the range, and just working things like T height, weight distribution, tilt setup. The one thing, Dustin, your speed you don't want to start launching it high. I mean, I would say if you launched it at 9 degrees with 2600 spin, you'd be really pleased with that flight. You'd see it initially launch higher. It would still look flat to your eye. The apex would still be kind of flat, and you'd have a really good second part of the flight. The angle of descent would be flat enough. So strike point would be what I would work on with you.
Makes sense, yeah. Absolutely. To you there, if you got one.
Ramiro, can you guys please do a review of the PXG drivers? Yeah, probably not coming anytime soon. I mean, of all the companies that we just don't have them in the store, and we've tried to get access to them without much success. So, I mean, a lot of people do ask us about PXG, and we can test. Like, I'll give you an example of that sick putters.
Right.
Turned up on our doorstep, and I mean, delighted to review those. We'll do a little video on those today. LAGP shafts in there, 2 different heads, the Pro with a plumber's neck. We have the Joe head with the little, it's not the slant, they call it the sweep, I think they call it.
Okay.
Something like that.
The neck?
Swept neck, yeah, something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, PXG. Dave Fogel asked them to send us stuff, and they said no.
Well, that's ridiculous. Dave asked and they didn't. Come on.
There, now you know the answers to why we don't test PXG stuff, because they said no.
Because they said no. John is asking, how would you compare the graphite design Tour DI versus the Tensi AV Raw Blue?
I would say, John, the likelihood is the same player would probably try those 2 shafts for the smoother delivery. That AV Raw Blue, last time we tested, it was very low balance point. I remember when we had the white, the orange, and the blue to test. Swing weight went way up on the blue. So, it was indicative of a very low balance point.
Gotcha.
So, depending on the head, but tip profile, they're both kind of what I'd consider to be moderately stiff shafts, not overly stiff.
Just putting a note in to hold off on any new questions, because we're going to try to get through the ones that we have. Where'd that go? I have one ready.
Will is asking, high-end putter shafts a gimmick, or is there real science behind it? Will, specifically on LAGP, I think when it comes to minimizing deflection, right? So we're always talking about on a 12-foot putt, if you have the face angle 1 degree open or 1 degree closed, you're going to miss the hole. If the shaft is contributing towards that deflection in any which way, which it can, if the shaft is overly soft, it's going to hinder your ability to manage the face horizontally and vertically, so you're going to have a really hard time making the same stroke twice. I think it makes a big difference. There's more and more focus going into putter shafts right now. Fujikura just made a new line that is basically like a firm, stiff, and extra stiff. Accra have had them for a long time. Obviously, BGT, Breakthrough Golf Technology, with the stability shaft, they're expanding their line. They have a bunch of new ones. LAGP, you see Kevin Na, you see DJ, a bunch of different players using them. I mean, Louis with his stability shaft.
Yep.
It's a slow burner, but it's happening. Like, you're seeing people do it. The OEMs, this might be slightly controversial to say this, but from what I'm hearing from the word on tour is the OEMs are against these shafts.
Really?
They don't want players playing these shafts. So they're doing what they can to kind of block, too many of these getting into people's bags.
It's an odd thing.
Yeah.
Just because it's not what comes as stock.
And that's not first-hand information. That may be from a slightly biased perspective, that one of the brands who make one of these shafts told me specifically that's what's happening.
But who knows?
Who knows?
Quick one here from John was just the FX 2.0 to the FX 3.0 Accra shafts. He has an FX 2.0. Is it worth the upgrade to go to the newer one? Is he going to notice a big difference? Or is he probably okay to stick with what he's got?
John, maybe let me know, is it a 100, 200 or 300 shaft? The M5. I'm going to guess it might be a 300 shaft based on the fact you're using an X-Flex. Maybe a bit of a punt at that one, but let us know, John, and I can probably tell you a little bit more. But generally, yeah, the upgrades are going to be fairly minimal, I would say.
Must be, right?
Yeah, incremental. No company makes quantum leaps from one model to another, because what do they do for the next several years?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like cars. Like, they can't just give you the car from 10 years from now.
They might know what it's going to be. That's concept products, isn't it? That's they raise the price, and you see some concept products.
Absolutely. Okay. Zach is asking for a hybrid shaft recommendation for TrackMan swing speed of 100 miles an hour. He's got a Mizuno CLK at the moment. He has a Tensei Blue, which I'm assuming he's not enjoying. So what would you like for him? TrackMan swing speed of 100.
Zach, I'd like a wee Ventus Blue in your life. I think Ventus Blue, if that's your hybrid speed, you and I are quite similar, so I think you could handle a 9X. I also really like the Graphite Design DI 95X. I think that's still my favourite shaft in the hybrids.
You still like that one?
Yeah, still have one of those floating about the garage.
You hung on to that for quite a while. Yeah.
Rob, what was Scott asking? What was Scott asking? Was about something.
Just mentioning the Callaway UT.
Oh yeah, he was talking to driving irons.
Yeah, he got a similar goal.
Right. Yeah. I think that Callaway UT's a great one. So, I carry two different driving irons. Well, I have two different driving irons that I carry. So, if I want the driving iron to be part of the iron set, I carry the Strixon, the ZX Utility 20 degree. It's got an MMT 105 TX in it. And if I want the iron as a driving iron more for off the tee,
Right.
I carry the Callaway 18 degree with the Ventus.
Right. Yeah, for the low ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Mr. Stremick says that the Ventus Blue hybrid is automatic for him. I think that might be something to do with you, Matt, being a very good player. Pieman69, loving the podcasts. Ryan and Mike doing a great job with the Build Shop podcast. Got some good guests. I joined them for the Matt Fitzpatrick one a couple of weeks ago. Tony Covey from My Golf Spy was on last week.
I saw that.
I haven't had a listen to that one yet, but looking forward to that. I think Tony's one of the people you need to listen to. I think his stuff is very, very fair, very unbiased and fair. He's been doing unbiased testing, data-based testing for a long, long time. I just think he's a good listen. Somebody who talks a lot of sense, and I think he's a smart cat as well.
Love it.
Who else did they have on? J-Dub.
Yeah, they had J-Dub on.
Yeah.
I think one of the earlier ones too.
Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't listened to the podcast with the lads with Mikey and Ryan, definitely give that a listen. Are we going to resurrect the podcast again?
Sure, we can at some point.
I think it'd be good. I've got a few people in mind that I'd like to get on a little series
chat?
3 on the old podcast.
Why not? Season 3.
Season
delayed
3.
from season 2.
COVID related. Not.
Yeah, no, it's not. We could have done it. Okay, I'm going to try to speed round through a few questions, guys, and then we're going to wrap up because we've got Rob's long game fitting to do, and he's anxious to do it.
Swinging away.
Okay, got fit for a TSI 3 with the hazardous RDX Blank 6.0. Okay, swing speed went up 12 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Pretty simple answer.
Yeah, you want to probably jump up a little bit in stiffness and weight. You're probably just struggling a little bit with the consistency on the timing of it. So hop up into X-Flex and don't be tied to that shaft either. You know, be open that something else at X-Flex might be a better fit for you.
Fair enough.
Timmy's saying, Rob, come on, Cameron, show us your muscles. Oh, because he'll shame us. He's going to stay in the background with his muscles in the background. You'll see enough of them. You'll see enough of them this week. He'll be flexing for you, Timmy. Don't worry. He'll give you a little bicep curl just for you.
Just run the fall through.
Yeah.
Will's asking, someone with a big overswing, generally heavier driver shaft, is that better? Would you give someone who's a overswinger a heavier shaft or not? I'm assuming meaning like swing length.
Generally speaking, Will, I would make sure weight is the primary component of the shaft that you're using. Try and maybe, you know, if you have been using a 60 and struggling with it, go up to a 70. You know, be aware that, you know, there's going to be try and get a lower balance point as well. Something that the weight is further from your hands. That will certainly help with the feel of that shaft as well.
Gotcha.
So be good. Guys, just hang on. I see his 2 super chats just came in. We don't want to miss them. We don't want any upset people. We appreciate super chats. We really, really do. But we will miss them if any more come in. So we'll take the last 2, but hold it from now.
Okay. Good one from Jeremy. If you guys had to guess, what do you think you would shoot at the Open this week? What's your experience with links golf? My experience is right here. 0.
And I am crap in links golf. I'm absolute garbage.
I don't even think I would break 100, I'm assuming. I'm assuming if it was windy, I'd shoot like 100 and something.
A prime Matty Bloys would shoot somewhere in the high 70s to low 80s.
Very generous.
I think prime.
Sure.
Yeah, I think you and
With
I
a good caddy. With a good caddy.
Yeah, and some form going into it.
Yeah, hitting it good.
Yeah, we need a little. I would love. I've seen. It's funny the boys in the UK, all the YouTubers in the UK, if you want to call them that. They don't know if they like being called that, but
that's what they're being.
That's what they are. They're all following each other's lead. By going to St Andrews. I think every one of them has made a trip to St Andrews recently and played around there and stuff. And it made me think. I was watching one of them over the weekend, and I was thinking to myself, like, you and I really need to go over there. Like, you know, could probably get the guys at Turnberry to do like a open setup for us.
That'll be fun.
Get us on, like, you know, maybe when the Open was there in 2009.
Yeah,
where were the pins, where were the tees? Like, we could probably make that happen. Like, the boys play a US an Open Championship setup. That'd be fun,
so
eh?
Cool. Yeah.
See what we would do. I tell you one thing.
Be doing bad.
59-year-old. Is that how
That's
Tom
right.
Watson was?
Tom Watson was.
59-year-old Tom Watson would have dusted us by a double-digit margin over 4 rounds. That's for
I was
sure.
gonna say per round, but yeah.
Per round, man. Maybe. Maybe.
Okay, from Jeff. Jeff got fitted to an RDX Blue.
I like it.
Okay, camera was okay.
Go with stiff. Yeah, you're not quite an X-Flex, Jeff, so yeah.
Easy one?
Easy one.
Stiff.
Yeah. In the gym 4 times. So you're doing all the right things. Gain some speed, which is awesome. I think you've got another little jump to get to before.
Takes time before that kind of becomes your baseline, right?
Definitely.
All right, a couple more we're going to fly through here. Forgive us. Irons have prior generation Fuji Vista Pro 60i R-Flex shaft. Needs shaft recommendation for stock Vokey wedges. So he's basically saying same flex. So would you get the exact same Vista Pro 60i as the irons, or would you get the 70i in the wedges? I know your opinion on this has changed a little bit here and there, but this is quite a lighter category we're talking about.
I would be kind of in the 85 gram range for you when it comes to some wedge shafts. So I think some Nippon 850s would be lovely for you if you're going to play steel. I think 70 might be a little on the light side when it comes to the wedges. So yeah, I think 80 and 85 gram would be nice.
Okay, love it.
I'll grab one here from
Yep.
Mike. Mike W has a 3 and 5 wood, was thinking about de-lofting the 5 wood or add loft to the 3 wood in order to convert into a 4 wood. Is one of those options preferable? Yes, one of them will be preferable to you, but the 3 wood that you turn up in loft will close the head. The 5 wood that you turn down loft will open the head. You will know which of those is going to be better for you. So if you're a slicer, you probably want to turn up the 3 wood. If you're a bit of a fader, you probably want to open the 5 wood.
Gotcha. Love it. From Bob. Bob is saying, is it fair to call the G425 Max a lower launch spin G400 Max with the adjustability? Yeah, the G400 Max was very high spinning. I would say the G425 Max, they came down a little bit. Whether it would be a 9 degree to a 10.5 degree, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, a few hundred RPMs maybe?
Maybe. I mean, definitely that CG shifter on the G425 is the biggest difference maker there. So depending on what spot you've got that in, you've got the lie angle settings, you can play it flatter, you can nudge that around a little bit. So I wouldn't really compare those two, if I'm being honest, Bob. I think there's so much adjustability. I think the G425 is a Swiss Army knife compared to the G400. It can be so many different things.
Very true.
More settings, more weight adjustment. It's definitely not a one-trick pony, that's for sure.
Yep. Very good. This is an interesting one. So fitted for an Epic Speed 3 wood, but was recommended the Motori F1. Obviously, you have to pay for that if it's from Callaway. Basically asking, should I get a Cobra 5 wood because I'm going to get a stock one in there for no upcharge and needs to hit the 5 wood off the deck? I mean, the Cobra 5 wood was nice that we tested.
I think that's good logic to me.
I tested, obviously. Don't buy it blind, but they're rad speed woods.
You can also get an F1 in stock in a Mizuno STZ.
Also a very nice wood,
which we have tested and have found to be, if it's not the best, it's one of the best of the year. So
Chef does recommend.
I would definitely keep that in mind.
Yep. Good advice.
Matthew, hey boys, thanks for having the best channel on the YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just got fit for top of the bag at the biggest club fitting chain in the US. Not happy about it. They have a guarantee. How should I approach this? Utilize your guarantee to the fullest. Until you're happy, keep going back. It's not your problem, it's their problem, right? So you paid your money, you have bought into their process. Until you're happy, keep going back. That's how I would approach that. Don't write off your experience. Don't discard the experience and the money. Stick with it. At some point you'll get somewhere. If it's not, maybe you want to ask for a different fitter. Maybe you didn't. I've had that. I had maybe a player that I worked with that we didn't gel very well together. My delivery maybe wasn't ideal for them, and they've went to someone else and went, actually I can prefer that experience.
Perfect.
Not everyone is the right person. Someone is not the right person for everyone.
Yes.
So keep going back until you're happy.
Yeah.
You've paid your money.
Well said. We missed one, but we're going to get it right now from I Love It. Is 105 too fast for the stock stiff in the Mini Driver 300? It's a 65 gram, if I recall correctly. So if someone swings 105, is the stock stiff 65 gram too?
I mean, you're going to know. Yeah, too weak.
Would it be too weak?
Mikey was at about 100 with the stock one, and he loved it.
He loved it, yeah.
So, bear in mind that shaft is a little bit shorter, so The 65 is actually probably the equivalent of like a 70, because it will probably be starting at a slightly shorter blank lens. So not necessarily. Okay. I think you can probably give it a run. I wouldn't say that would be the ideal scenario. I'd probably say maybe a 70-gram shaft would be closer to ideal, but go test it and find out for yourself is what I would say.
Love it. I love it.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Guys, thanks for the live. Very active live.
That was busy, wasn't it?
It was.
It was a busy, felt like it was a 1 hour speed round.
It was an hour and 10 minute speed round, yeah.
Wow.
All right.
I like it.
Well, we're going to get on Rob's fitting.
Yes.
The continuation.
Continuation of that.
So we'll see those this week.
See those this week. We've got some putter stuff to do. I think, the ambition level would be to do, Rob's other kind of 5-wood hybrid part of his fit, and then head over to the putter studio and have a little look at sick and arm lock will be the two I'd love to get into. Especially off the back of trying like a very conventional shape in that one. Yeah. Plumber's neck, standard, Answer or Newport shape, and then get into a little arm lock and see the differences. We touched on some things with Paul Hurrian last week on face rotation and stuff, and it'll be good.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks for watching.
Champion golf of the year?
I said it last week. I think Louis is going to win.
Louis going to win, and I'm sticking with mine from last week. I think Rambo, he played well enough to know his game is still there from the US Open. Great. But he didn't push himself into contention to the point where he, I think it's tough to be at the game end mentally. Yeah. The business end of it. Oh yeah. When your game is as good as his, it's easier because it's not as mentally taxing to hit so many good shots. His game just does that naturally. But I think this is a tricky golf course. I think Rory rightly said it. St George's is the quirkiest of all the Open Championship. Okay. The fairways are very crowned, so you need to accept that you'll hit a perfect drive and be in the rough a lot of the time. So
that is quirky.
Yeah. But I do think it lends itself to someone hitting it one way. If you can be hitting it into a specific fairway with one shape, and then you've got the whole fairway to work with, the likelihood of the miss is going to be a little less severe than if you're kind of got a bit of a two-way miss in there. I think that's another thing that lends itself. So
Ram does do that.
Ram does that well, and I think Matt Fitzpatrick is a bit of a sleeper.
Ooh, a little dark horse.
Yeah.
And a wink because he was on the podcast.
Aye. Friend of the channel.
Yeah, exactly. Friends of the channel do better on tour. It is what it is. All right.
Good stuff. Guys, have a good week. Enjoy the golf, and we will see you back here next week.
Next Monday.
Good stuff.